They have their most wins in a season since 2017 as they finished 9-3. It's their first 6-game win streak since 2013. Both teams finishing with 9-3 records, but it is the Gamecocks that come out on top 17-14. And going into the game, we talked about the fact that this was basically a game for an at-large berth in the college football playoffs. So, Gamecocks out on top. Your reaction to this result?
I thought South Carolina would win this football game, and much in due in part to Lanorris Sellers.
What a game.
His decision-making has gotten better and better throughout these last several weeks. He did have the interception today, but protecting the football, when you need to use your legs, creating some plays. They're getting pressure on him, evading sacks, and creating the extra yards. It was a beautiful game from him, a masterclass, and a tight football game for him to execute down the stretch was huge. I thought Cade Klubnik played pretty well as well. He made the tough decision there at the end, 12 seconds left, trying to throw a check down behind his running back. I mean, that wasn't going to really help you get any extra yards in field goal range. So, tough decision for him, tough way for Clemson to go out.
Brutal, brutal way to lose the game for Clemson. I thought they got a little conservative in the second half. Their defense was doing a good job, and they just couldn't get anything going offensively. And then I got a feel for Cade Klubnik. You have this legacy-defining drive against a rival, and he actually did a great job getting them down there into a chip shot range for field goal. But you made the cardinal sin, and I understand it because it wasn't like it was a bad throw, it wasn't or a bad decision, excuse me, but you're throwing it to a back. So no offense, James, but like you got to be kind of careful where it goes, and it tips up, and it's just the worst luck you could possibly have. But credit to Shane Beamer and the job he's done. One of the hottest teams in the country right now, with the way Lanorris Sellers is coming. Compared him to Lamar Jackson there, who had that success against Clemson. I think he's like a mini Jalen Milroe as well, like somebody who just can hurt you so much with their legs. He's so athletic and just extends plays. Felt like he literally put this team on his back and willed them to a win. It was a phenomenal performance.
Carried the ball 16 times for 166 yards and the touchdowns. He had 164 yards passing, 166 yards rushing, 13 completions, but 16 carries. So, I mean, he ran this ball. Obviously, he took over this game, Mackenzie. But when you look at what this could mean for the playoff.
Oh, how much time do you have, Jeremy? Everybody get comfortable here. Yeah. You know, the biggest thing coming in was a number of SEC teams getting in versus number of ACC teams getting in. And for me, this was Clemson's opportunity to push for that third ACC team in, to show the integrity of that entire conference, show that they can hang with the SEC. Now, obviously, that was a phenomenal game. I do think they can. However, this does open that door for a fourth SEC team. So right now we're looking at South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M, teams that are alive to probably be that fourth. Now, Texas A&M could go on and win the SEC championship for all I care, so maybe we won't put them in that conversation. Now, you want to immediately think to yourself, okay, South Carolina lost the head-to-head to Bama. They lost the head-to-head to Ole Miss. Why would the committee want to put them in? There's no rules to what the committee wants to do. Recency bias will absolutely play a part. And you look at odds makers coming into this, there's a reason South Carolina was plus 520 and Ole Miss was plus 920, okay? If it was really just about head-to-head, that would have been flipped. So now we're sitting here, what does the committee value here? And you look at them who beat South Carolina, beat Texas A&M, that could end up being one of the most impressive things to do in college football all season if we could see that potentially be an SEC champion team. So I could see them wanting to put in South Carolina. I think beating, technically, coming into this week, Clemson was the 12th best team in the country. So if you beat the 12th best team on their own home turf, are you now the 12th best team in the country? Are you better than Bama, better than Ole Miss? Those are questions I don't have to answer, but I'm just laying the field.
I still think it comes down, because I felt like this was a play-in game for Clemson or South Carolina, but then you bring up some of those points.
Right.
Is South Carolina going to leapfrog two teams that it lost to head-to-head? And one of them was ugly against Ole Miss. That
only
game
one
was
behind
old.
Ole Miss, only two behind Bama. It's not crazy.
It's not crazy at all. We just don't know. Last year, they had the Texas-Bama dynamic, and they had Florida State sitting there. You know what they did? They say, Florida State, we don't want to make that decision, so we'll put them both in. That might be something that could come into play depending on what happens the rest of today. Penn State against Maryland, we'll have to see. But though I think the biggest unknown, because we haven't seen it yet, is because we haven't had a 12-team playoff. How does the committee treat conference championship games? And I think what's probably going to reign supreme is you better be close. If you're a loser, it better be close. I think that's your best way to go in as a loser. If you get beat by 3 touchdowns, you might get eliminated no matter if it's a one-loss ACC team, whatever it is with the Big Ten. Like, you just better make sure that game is close because there is a recency bias that comes into play too. Like, ooh, they're not playing very good, so we better keep them out. So that's the greatest unknown for me.
And that's exactly what could happen for Texas A&M, a team that just they have to win the SEC championship to secure a spot, which I don't know how to feel about that, but I'm pretty sure that is the way they would have to go. I mean, South Carolina, it's just like you barely lost to Bama, and we talk about style points all year. You know, beating Clemson at Clemson, is that a better look than Ole Miss kind of shooing off Mississippi State and barely getting by them? Is that style point going to outweigh that head-to-head there? That is a question. If Auburn keeps it close with Bama, do we want to take South Carolina over that Bama team? So we don't know the answers to these questions, and that's, I guess, what we're going to start to find out. And I'll be curious to see when odds repost. It seems like the odds makers would love that team to be Bama, but they do have South Carolina likely ahead of Ole Miss.
Would you want to see South Carolina in there, given they've won 6 straight games? I mean, you talk about recency bias, Danny, and recent form means something. This is one of the hottest teams in college football right now.
I would love to see them in there. They're playing their best football at the right time, 6 games in a row, beating 4 ranked teams. I don't think any team in the college football playoff would want to see South Carolina. They can contend with anybody defensively. Then you got Lanorris Sellers playing extremely well. No team, no defense wants to see what he did today. Evading sacks, creating yards on his own, scoring touchdowns. That is the toughest thing to stop, and I think they'll be dangerous if they're allowed to get in.
It's going to be. I see, this is one of the things I actually do love about it, is that, and if it was me in there, I probably would go with the team now. Now, I'm okay with it being NFL style, where I don't really care what the record is, but there are teams that are dangerous because you do get hot, and I'm more of a believer in momentum than some of the hardcore nerd analytics people that are like, oh, they don't matter. This team is playing with confidence, and I don't think anyone would want to face South Carolina in the playoffs. Like, that's almost an interesting dynamic to look at it there. Like, if you asked every coach who's the least team you'd want to face, South Carolina might be at the top of the list.
For what it's worth, you know, my Georgia sorority girl group chat texting about this game, everyone's like, I don't want to play South Carolina in the playoff. Like, we're like, I'd rather see a lot of other SEC teams before South Carolina right now.
And you know you don't want to face another ACC team again. You saw how that almost unfolded.
Yeah, I've hit my quota on my ACC experience.
The crazy part about it, too, is that, I mean, there's still a chance for Clemson to play for the ACC championship.
Yeah.
Because if Syracuse beats Miami,
let's get a look on that here.
Then right now it's 21-7 for Miami. They are just making their way to just under 11 minutes into the left in the second quarter there. But it is Miami in control. Syracuse did just score a touchdown. So that's the crazy part of this. Clemson could still play for an ACC title, and wouldn't that throw something?
The one thing I've learned
into the playoff.
Through this 12-team playoff and being someone to talk about percent chances and elimination, all that stuff, I am not using the word elimination game until week 14. Like, from what we have experienced, what I've learned this year is that word is banned until we are in double-digit weeks at least, because you just never know.
So Florida State has a chance?
They got a chance, Danny. They got a chance.
I think it's safe to say they're eliminated.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say as well. All right, that'll do it for us. South Carolina getting a big win over Clemson, 17-14, as we get that final week, rivalry week, a little bit of that chaos, and we talk about the day that Lanorris Sellers had. What a day it was today. 166 yards rushing. He was a cheat code. He was a cheat code today. Let's just say he was a cheat code versus Clemson, and you look at the stats in comparison to Lamar Jackson. Difference was versus Clemson. Sellers gets the win. Gamecocks 17-14.